Hi, I'm Christine and I'm back with another video. I'll keep this one short and sweet. We're going to talk about some scenes from Daredevil episode 5, or Daredevil Born Again, rather, episode 5, with interest, which of course features Matt voluntarily walking back into the bank to participate in a bank robbery. And there's even a scene of him smiling about it, which I thought was pretty funny. This one's got some fun stuff going on. I think it would have benefited from having like a beginning and an end that would have anchored the episode more and sort of the rest of the story. But still, with that said, I did enjoy it quite a bit, and I think it showcases some of my favorite things to talk about. So that's what we're going to do now. And we're just going to look at some scenes and see what we see.
Mr. Carter, what are you doing here? I thought you'd already left. Yeah, I probably should have.
All right. No need to explain what this is. You've all been to the movies.
What I really enjoy about this scene is that it really showcases his sense of hearing and how he uses that to get sort of a lay of the land. And I think it not only shows him, of course, using this sense in creative ways, but it also isn't really afraid to highlight his dependence on it as well. He can't know that, you know, the people with the weapons have all these different colored hoods on, or in any other situation where it wouldn't be that easy to just tell like this group from this group. So he kind of has to listen in on what's going on. Of course, in this situation, it's fairly evident who the robbers are, but I mean, he needs to sort of audibly kind of locate those and also kind of get a sense, a read on the rest of the group that's there with him. And I think you'll notice, especially if you rewatch the episode, that he already picks up on how one of the hostages, this woman who is in league with the robbers, that her heartbeat is not the heartbeat of a frightened woman. And so he can already figure that out. So I think it's an interesting just example of him using his sense of hearing to just get a good sense of just his immediate surroundings and how all these people fit together.
Open the door.
The focus on sound here is actually a little bit different because it's muted almost to the point where there are no other sounds in the scene except for sort of they're highlighting the sounds of the knife, the sounds of the actual fight, the sounds of him like stretching his tie, and all of that. So there's a different kind of focus on sound in this scene, but I think it's also done really well. And of course, you do see some of these like typical features of the genre here, like him reaching out his hand and grabbing that gun as it's falling, and him kind of realizing like, oh, it's gonna fall from right over here, so I need to stretch up my hand over here. He knows it's there, but he's again alerted to it during the fight where it starts to move a little bit and is able to grab it in time. I also know that there were quite a few people in my circle who appreciated the the way he sort of strangles this guy with his legs. Okay, let's jump ahead.
It's just safety deposit boxes.
1,273 of them.
And they all require a key?
2 to be precise. 1, the bankers. 2nd one, the owners.
So then what are they? Must be our lucky day.
What I really like to give the creators credit for here is their ability to resist the temptation of having Matt be the one who solves this conundrum in any sort of way. They are comfortable letting him not actually be able to help here. And of course, it's not that Matt does nothing here. He goes out and retrieves the second key from the pocket of the robber, which of course makes all the sense in the world. But what's happening here is that there are all these nondescript anonymous boxes with numbers on them that Matt can't see. And even the key where Mr. Khan sees that the number's been scratched out, but he can faintly make out a 4. That's something that it would have been so easy for the creators to be like, oh, but I can, with my sense of touch, feel the additional numbers that you can't see. And I mean, yes, this actually brings back a particular scene in the comics for me. So it's something that they could have done, and I think that there is a temptation to do that, and I just kudos to them for not doing that, to actually have this be a scene where Matt is allowed to be a blind guy who really can't help with this situation. I know, shocker. This is reminiscent of a scene, if you remember from season 2 of the original show, where Matt and Elektra go looking for that ledger at this gala event, and they break in, and Matt actually very cleverly uses his sense of hearing to detect that there's a hidden room behind the room they're sitting in. And the first part of that scene I like for some of the same reasons. We have Elektra going through all these papers, looking for things. Matt just sits there and leans back, and it's super obvious that he can't do much to help in that situation. But of course, once they're inside the room, he's the one who then detects the drawer that they should be looking into to find the ledger. And the way he does that is, I mean, entirely nonsensical.
Here, this one. Books, paper.
The whole idea that he would be able to just automatically sense that there's like books and paper in that drawer makes absolutely no sense. And it would have been so much nicer to just have like left that alone. Maybe have Elektra solve it. That made that scene that started really well be just one of those scenes that I kind of roll my eyes at. And so far, I haven't rolled my eyes at anything in Daredevil Born Again. It's exactly the kind of thing where you see here, where it makes more sense for Mr. Khan to solve this. And of course, his nerves are raw and all of that, so he doesn't do a very good job of it until he eventually finds the right one. But so this is a scene I appreciate for what's not in it, which is just as important as what is, especially when it comes to Daredevil. Okay, let's have a look at another clip from this episode.
Got this, DeLuca.
And this brings home some of the same points I made for the very first scene, where Matt just kind of tracks these people. His ears know where they are, and who's who, more importantly. And he then is able, when he gets outside on the street, is able to find with his ears, not any other sense, is able to detect that same person again as he's walking down the street. And of course, then he gives him a very, very, very severe beating. So these were some of the things that I enjoyed about this episode. I hope there's going to be more stuff like this coming. And yeah, so far so good. We are 6 episodes into this 9-episode season. And so far, I am just thrilled with what they're doing on the census front and in general. So with that said, bye. See you later.